Hi, Tim here from TNT. This is a bit of a breaking news. The Prime Minister looks like he's going to have to get a new job. He has been dismissed as the Prime Minister. This breaking news from the Constitutional Court. They've ruled 5-4. There are 9 people on the Constitutional Court. 5-4 that Srettha Thavisin, the Prime Minister, has violated the Constitution by appointing Pichet Chuenban as the Prime Minister Office Minister, despite Pichet having been charged in the past for attempted bribery of a court official. So this, given what happened last week with the Constitutional Court, will really throw the whole Thai political system into a tiz. We've got a situation here where one political party, the one that got the highest number of votes in the last election, was dismissed from office. However, all but 10 of those MPs have formed together as a new party and will sort of continue the battle under the banner of People's Party. But this one, I think, has much more long-term ramifications, given the turmoil and the, 3 months to find a Prime Minister after the last election. With all the horse trading and all the bargaining going on, and this man, Srettha Thavisin, appeared from nowhere, a property tycoon, a member of the Per Thai Party, but not an MP. And he was elected by a combined sitting of the lower house and the upper house to become Thailand's next Prime Minister. Now he's been thrown out. So, assumedly, the whole process has to start again. Now, the people at the time, after the last election, who were put up by their parties as prime ministerial nominees, would now be able to stand for the position of Prime Minister. Now, unlike last year, when the Prime Minister was elected by a joint sitting of both houses of Parliament, that situation has now changed. So it only has to be voted in the actual lower house. So this is, a lot of people will be thumbing their way through the 2017 Constitution thinking, what the hell do we do? This really is uncharted territory, and because the Constitution is new and because this has not been confronted before, there may be quite a lot of issues as to how this new Prime Minister will be elected. Now, who's in the shortlist? Well, people like Anitin Sharvitakun would be on the shortlist. Prawit Wongsuwon, who just last Saturday celebrated his 80th birthday, he'd be on the shortlist. Be a particularly short list. Now, there are other people, people like Patongtan Shinawat. She could be a possible nominee for the position. Now, of course, we'll have a lot more news about this when we do our TNT program tomorrow. But just as we got the news, the Constitutional Court have ruled by a slim majority, 5-4, that the Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin has violated the Constitution by appointing that gentleman Pichet we mentioned earlier to a position, and Pichet had been in the past charged over attempted bribery of a court official. So this really does throw Thai politics into a complete mess, a time when Thailand is trying to sort of stabilise its economic situation. This Thai Prime Minister was certainly a champion of trying to boost Thailand's economy by any means possible. He's toured the world. He's been getting right behind tourism in all the territories, especially Phuket, for example, which he's visited 5 times. He's visited Phuket more times than he's visited most other provinces. Well, that's not quite right. But he's certainly been a huge champion for trying to propel Thailand's economy. Now, there's other people who you describe as career politicians, people like Anitin, whose interest in becoming Prime Minister may not be quite as pure as Srettha's was, and we'll just have to see what happens over the next few days. But I'm thinking it's probably going to take weeks, perhaps even longer, rather than days before Thailand is able to find a new Prime Minister. The other thing to consider is who will become Thailand's caretaker Prime Minister, because the whole process of Parliament can't just stop just because the Constitutional Court have dismissed the Prime Minister. So assumedly the Deputy Prime Minister, the Deputy PM, will step into the position, but again, that may not have been tested, may not be covered by the Constitution, but the head of the lower house, the Leader of the House, would probably have some say into what's going on there. Indeed, the Leader of the House may take that caretaker position. So a lot of questions thrown up in the air. A lot of people, even we reported this morning, were saying it's unlikely the Constitutional Court will throw out the Prime Minister. But the votes have been taken, 5-4, slim majority, and Thai social media will be going into meltdown. Just last night we noticed a story from, I think it was reported in Thai PBS, saying the Prime Minister had a good sleep. He wasn't particularly worried. He didn't even attend the Constitutional Court. He sent one of his minders to hear the verdict today. So maybe he didn't think it was going to happen either. Now, don't feel too bad about this Prime Minister. He'll go back to being a property tycoon, probably one of the wealthiest Prime Ministers Thailand's ever had. And, well, here we are, Thailand without a Prime Minister as we speak. And we'll bring you up to date with all the details as we find them. And in tomorrow's program, it'll come out around about 9:30, 10 a.m. as usual on TNT. Thanks for dropping in.